in single lens mode here. Single lens on the X4. So we'll see how that works out. I am headed to a baseball game to shoot. I think I've mentioned it before, but I shoot for various wire services and publications, sports photography. So I am headed to the New York Yankees versus Texas Rangers game tonight, and it's been a few days, or actually a couple of weeks since I've shot last, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. And here in Texas, we got a new stadium, so I don't have to worry about the rain or the heat. For once, it used to be really pretty bad trying to shoot games in the heat of the summer was ridiculous in the old stadium, even though I like the old stadium better from a aesthetic point of view. But as someone working, and even as a fan, I think it's actually better in the new stadium just because it's comfortable. I was wanting to try out this single lens mode. That's one thing I haven't tried on the X4. I've always shot 360 and then just reframed, but today I'm going to actually try and see how well it works. Kind of have it at a weird angle, so I'm curious to see how that's going to work out. I'm going to have to, I don't know. I just flipped it on just as I was driving out of the driveway, so just to test it. So this will be a short video, but I needed to get something out there besides the concerts. And speaking of that, as you noticed, I've put the concert videos back out. And the main reason for that is I've given up on the idea of monetization because I just don't agree with the way YouTube does things. And that seems to be where my viewership comes from, is from the remastered concerts. So be it. I'll just, I may not be able to produce as many because of, it takes up a lot of time, but I'm just gonna go that route, and hopefully, maybe I can pick up a sponsor or something at some point to help there, but whatever. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep putting them out, and if you guys will continue to like them and view them the way you have, that's all I really need. So I'm gonna do that and intermix some of those with some of these vlogs in the car. That seems to be where I always put them, or always record them anyway. And I need to hurry because it's nearly 6 o'clock and the game starts at 7:05. What else can I talk about? Oh, I guess I could ask, while I'm putting out these videos, it's interesting because I put out an Iron Maiden video the other day, and I had spent a bunch of time remastering the audio and syncing the video because the video was not synced correctly, and put the entire, I want to say it was 2-hour concert up, and I immediately got blocked. Just like basically everything was blocked. And so I just immediately deleted it because I didn't want it to turn into a copyright strike. Last time that happened, that was no fun. So I went back and just put up, I looked at what was showing as copyright blocked, and it was like, 8 out of however many songs I think were the ones that were actually marked as blocked. So I picked one song that was not listed as blocked and put just that single song out. And I'm guessing that might be the way I need to do it from now on. I know a lot of you like the full concerts. But the problem with that is I can put in all that time and then never know if it's going to be blocked or not. So maybe I'll do the singles. And then also looking at the statistics, I know some of you watch the entire concerts from the beginning to the end, but it really looks like I'm getting about an average of 10 to 12 minutes of view time on any of those concerts. So maybe it doesn't make sense to actually put out the full in its entirety in one video. Maybe I split them up, even maybe I put the whole video out, I mean the whole concert out, but put them in separate sections. I don't know. Still trying to figure that part out, what works best for everybody, and also limits the exposure for it being blocked. But speaking of that, what other concerts would you guys like to see? I know basically, I mean, there's everything, you can find everything on the internet if you really try. The question is trying to find something that could stand a remastering or some improvement. That's really what I kind of try to focus on. The Van Halen video is audio improved, video is not improved. That's basically impossible. I even tried an AI tool on it the other day. It's a very expensive AI tool, but I used the demo just to see how well it would work, and it worked, but it was very odd because if you looked at it in a lot of parts, it really distorted their face and made them look very bizarre. So much so that I wouldn't use it. It did clean it up a little bit, and it did look clearer, but not enough so to offset the strange artifacts that it created as well. So, luckily, I mean, not luckily, I wish it was perfect and I would have maybe bought it, but since it's not even close to perfect, I decided to just go ahead and leave the old version up. I tried to clean up. You'll notice there's two different versions. There's a version that's just audio fixed, and then the second one I went in and did some color correction and blur sharpening, and also with the along with that there were some tools that you can use to do some de-bleeding off of, like, in old analog tape days you would have certain colors that would bleed and smear, and I used some of those tools on that, clean that up a little bit. So there's a second version out there that's a little bit the video's been improved a little bit, but it's still subpar compared to a lot of the other ones out there. As a lot of people mention, why is it just the Van Halen videos, the one that's so poor quality, when you can find the other musicians that day? There's a lot of video footage there that's actually pretty decent, especially the Triumph video. And I think from what I can gather is there's just never been a official release of that footage, and the footage that did come out was a bootleg off of a VHS tape, and somebody put the VHS tape video up on YouTube, and that's where all of these have come from, which, as you can imagine, just isn't very good quality. But it's still nice to have that for posterity, and you can always do a little something with the audio. And I gotta tell you, I cannot believe how many people, how many views, and how many comments and whatnot I got on the Heaven and Hell video, the Black Sabbath video. I literally have had in 1 week, it's just a little over 1 week now, and I've literally had over 120 something thousand views, and that was like, I want to say, I can't think, but it's so many hours of view time, and I got over 1,000 subscribers just from that one video. And you know what's funny is I had that same exact video up prior to me pulling them all off 5 months ago, or whenever it was. I actually literally had that video up for several months, and it barely got a few hundred views, and within a week I got 125,000 views after putting it back up. Same video, exactly. So I thought that was pretty funny. It shows you how the algorithm really affects things. So switching to a different subject, is there anything anybody wants to hear about photography, or how would anybody like to hear about photography or anything that I do here at the how I shoot these events and any questions about sporting events in general. So I actually have been doing this for about 15 years. Is that right? Oh, more than that. Gosh, about 20 years. So I've been shooting all the local events here, and not all of them, but pretty much every major sporting event and college here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for about close to 20 years now. And so I shoot, the Stars and Cowboys and Rangers and Mavs, along with TCU, SMU, Baylor sometimes. What am I missing? Oh, all the PGA events that come through, LPGA Tour, lots of things actually. I mean, even like the specialty events that come through, especially with AT&T Stadium. So I shoot a lot of soccer. FC Dallas I shoot out in Frisco, and then when we have the World Cup, when that comes through, I'll probably be shooting some of that. And I shoot a lot of international sports, so a lot of the soccer matches, the international soccer matches will come through here. And I've been fortunate to shoot quite a few of those. And of course, last year with the Rangers winning the World Series, that was a good time. Shot several of the playoff games. Shot the parade. But yeah, I don't know how much Cowboys I'm going to be doing this year. One of the outlets that I work for has changed up quite a bit since I started working with them originally. So I kind of parted ways with them recently, and so that was my main outlet for the Dallas Cowboys, which I shot for years. And so I'm not sure whether or not I'll be picking up any of those games this year or not. I'm hoping so, but I had to make a change there. I'm actually shooting, I already said this. I'm shooting in the 4K mode. There's really no reason to shoot in 8K 360 while I'm driving, unless you want to look around at where I'm driving. Truth is when it's not real bright out, like today it's overcast and it's been raining for 3 days in a row now, that the video footage is really dark inside the car. So I decided to try to just go for the 4K and see if it's better quality. Plus I was in a hurry. Let me be honest, I was just in a hurry, and so I was just said, what looks good? And I did that and hit record, so here I am. And once again, I'm all over the place. I don't have a script, I just talk as I'm driving, just to kind of just whatever comes to mind. And I took a nap right before I left, that's why I'm running late. So that's probably part of the reason why I'm so scatterbrained and all over the place, because I just literally woke up 2 minutes before I turned this camera on. I always say, well, maybe I'll edit this into chunks and make it more streamlined, and where I'm not just bouncing from one subject to another. And the problem with that is I always say I'm going to do it, and then I end up just putting these up straight and not worry about all my babbling and pauses and all that awkward stuff. I just kind of don't really care. I'm hoping that nobody else cares. I will say this though, I do plan on making more user content or not, I should say user content, more original content that will be more highly polished. I just have to decide exactly what I want to spend the time and effort on. As I said, 90% of what my traffic is for the concerts. And so all of these little vlogs and side projects that I have that I put up here, for very few. I'm hoping that eventually somebody will decide that they're worth watching, but I guess I'm gonna have to just put some more effort into it, and that's why I said I'm gonna try to polish them up a little bit, have a script and that sort of thing, so it's not just off the cuff. Sometimes I just like to ramble and capture myself. Maybe one day my kids will see this. Right now they won't watch it, either with my wife, because they cringe whenever they see me on video, but someday it'll at least be archived. They can listen to their dad make a fool out of themselves, myself. But hopefully that's way down the line. And you know what? I am going to, even though I'm really not supposed to, I really can't use a lot of the footage that I take at the games. I can take snapshots from the publications. I can take screenshots of the publications that they get put in. And since this is the Yankees Rangers, there'll probably be quite a few of them put up even tonight before I even finish the game, because I'm editing and publishing the pictures as I go along. You know, basically every inning to 2 innings I upload a few photos here and there. So I will, if I find some online, I will post them, or I'll try to intermingle them into this video, just so you can kind of see what work I produce. I'll also put a link in so you can see, if you want to see my work. I've got a ton. It's pretty easy to Google if you really care. Over 20 years, there's a lot out there. A lot of it's duplicate, same pictures. Let's say you'll hit on a particular image, and it'll get used by every publication, you know, out there, and blogs and news agencies, and you just really never know where it's going to appear. You know, sometimes you have them appear, you know, overseas and in international news, or sports magazines, that sort of thing. So I try to keep a running, well, at least for the last couple of years, I've been trying to have a automatic search within Google that tries to identify anything that I have a byline in, and so I've tried to capture as many of those as I can. It's kind of interesting to see where they go. But yeah, a lot of the editing, the process is, it's pretty it's not, you know, a lot of people think, oh, it's, you know, how cool is that to be able to shoot sporting events, and it is. It's very cool, but it's a job, and you can get burnt out on it, because there's a little bit of pressure. You can't miss the plays, you know, and on top of that, you know, there's a lot of equipment expense involved. And while you're at the games, when you're shooting, you're on a a schedule that you've got to get images up. You know, you're on a time crunch where you literally have to edit. And what I mean by edit is crop and slightly color correct if you need to, or adjust the brightness a little bit. You can't make giant edits. You know, you can't run them through Photoshop and do stuff. You can't do that with editorial images. And so what happens is we also have to caption them. So anything, when you read at the bottom where it says the date and by who it's from, and it says, you know, so-and-so reaches first base on an error during the third inning of the game between blah, 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 blah. All those type of things we have to do those as well on the fly and get those up on a deadline. So, you know, you're marking camera images in your camera that you think are good as you're shooting, and then you run over but between innings and dump them to your computer, and grab the marked images and fix them, crop them, do all that stuff, add your bylines and your captions to them, and then you export them out in FTP, or send them up to your service that you're working for, and then they immediately produce, or it depends. Most of the time, who I work for, they're immediately put online for, the wire, which is where everybody can buy the images or pick them up or whatever. And it's It's kind of one of those lather, rinse, repeat things where you're like it's your cycle. You know, you shoot the first inning, right after the end of the first inning, you run in, you try to get the pictures up, and because you never know how long the pictures are going to be in the game, and you know, you might put up 5-10 images each time you upload, and those are, sometimes you miss something because you're in the middle of editing and the next inning is already started, and you know, something might happen, you know, while you're still trying to finish up your previous couple of innings. That happens. But yeah, you have to get real good at your workflow. Workflow is everything. And you also have to learn the sports really well, where you know kind of where you anticipate things. You know that if it's a, you know, right-handed batter and they pull the ball typically, then you know to aim towards the shortstop or towards left field. Did I say right-handed batter? Yeah. You know, tendencies of players, what the kind of pitches they're going to take, what the count is. You know, so the count could be, you know, is it a count where the person on first base would often steal second? So you have to be paying attention to that. And it's those type of things that make the difference, because if you know the game and you're used to it, you can kind of anticipate those moments, and that works for every sport. It really does, kind of just knowing what to expect, because things are pretty similar, even though you don't realize it, but lots of situational things are the same from game to game. And so that helps a lot with capturing the images. And anyway, I might make a video just about that at some point, if anybody cares, because I know I'm rambling and I'm almost here, so I'll cut it short. And I appreciate everybody that does watch these. It means a lot, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.